Thank you for attending the Kentucky Public Pensions Authority Member Self-Service webinar for Tier 1 members.
During today's webinar, we will discuss how to register for Member Self-Service, how to use the secure message portal, and how to navigate and use the various modules of self-service, including uploading documents to your file, estimating your monthly benefits, or calculating the cost of a service purchase.
KPPA's Member Self-Service site is a convenient and comprehensive tool that allows users to access their account information at any time. Once registered, active and retired members have 24-hour access to their account information on a mobile, tablet, or PC-friendly format. To reach Member Self-Service, a user can navigate to myretirement.ky.gov or to kyret.ky.gov and click the login icon at the top of the page. Doing so will navigate you to the self-service portal. Once you are on our self-service website, you can log in if you've already registered and know your credentials. If you have not registered, you can click the Need to Register link to begin the process. If you have registered before and do not remember your user ID or your password, you can click on the Forgot User ID or Password link. It is the same process as registration, except it will ask you for some information you've already submitted when you first registered. On the right side of the screen, there are 3 calculators that you can use if you don't want to or can't register for self-service. These calculators will give retirement or service purchase information based on whatever the user inputs. We're going to assume that the user has not registered before, so we'll start by going through the registration process and clicking on the Need to Register link. The registration process is simple and requires 5 pieces of information: your name, your Social Security number, your date of birth, your 4-digit KPPA PIN, and either a personal or work email address. On the Member Information field, enter your first and last name, then your Social Security number. The self-service registration page is secure and encrypted, so when you enter your Social Security number, it will be masked. There's an eyeball icon in the field if you wish to see what you typed in. Next is your date of birth. This will not be masked. Make certain that you separate the month, day, and year fields in your birth date using the forward slashes. If you wish, you can also use the calendar icon on the right side of the field. Once you have entered the information, click the green Next icon to move to the next screen. If you should receive an error, verify the information you entered. If you still receive an error, contact our office. There may be an error in your Social Security number or your date of birth in your file. The next screen requires you to enter your 4-digit KPPA PIN. This is a number that has been assigned to you in the past. Do not guess what your PIN is. It is not a number you created. If you enter an invalid PIN 3 times, the PIN number will be locked and you'll have to request a new one. If you do not know or do not remember your PIN, you can click on the Need a New PIN icon. You will then navigate to a new page where you will have the option to have a new PIN mailed to your home address or emailed securely to your email address if we have one on file. The email address will be partially masked for security purposes. If you choose email, you should have it within a few minutes. If you do not have an email address on file, you will have to get it mailed to your home address, which will take a few days. Back on the Enter PIN screen, the PIN will be masked as a security measure as you type it in. There's an eyeball icon in the field if you wish to see what you typed. Once you've entered your 4-digit PIN, click the green Submit button. The last screen of registration has several fields that need to be completed. The first field is an email address. This will be the address that will be associated with your account. It can be whatever email address you prefer, and you can change it at any time. The next field is for your user ID. This can be any combination of letters, numbers, or characters, but it is limited to 12 characters. It also must be unique. No one else can have that user ID. The next fields require you to create and confirm a password. The password must meet certain security requirements. It must be at least 8 characters long, and it must contain at least one number, at least one uppercase letter, and at least one lowercase letter, as well as one special character. The allowed special characters are the exclamation mark, the @ sign, the pound sign, the dollar sign, or the percent sign. These are above 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 on your keyboard. Last, you need to choose a secret question from the drop-down and then answer the question in the last field. Here you can see the list of the secret questions. Choose a secret question and answer that is easy for you to remember, but hard for someone else to guess. Once you have completed all the fields, click the green Next button to move to self-service. If you should receive an error message, make the needed corrections and make sure all of the fields are complete. Upon initial registration, a screen will appear that will ask you to verify your contact information. If any of this information needs updating, click the blue Edit icon. If everything is correct, click the green Confirm button. This screen will appear every 6 months to make sure your information is up to date. You will receive an email at the submitted email address verifying your registration. This is an additional security feature. When you first enter the self-service website, there's a welcome message that has some useful information. First, if you ever forget your PIN, you can request a new one using the Request PIN module. Second, you, as an active or retired member, can vote in KPPA board elections. This is an electronic election, but you have the option to request a paper ballot by clicking the Paper Ballot button. Please also note that there is a timer that will log you out of self-service if you are inactive for 15 minutes. The screen appearance will be different based on if you're using a mobile device or a PC. The PC view will have tiles that link to each of the modules of Member Self-Service and a navigation bar at the top that will have drop-downs to each of those modules. The mobile view will display the tiles vertically down your screen, and the drop-down is collapsed into a hamburger or a collapsible menu icon. The navigation bar or hamburger will be on each module as you navigate through Member Self-Service. On the navigation bar is a link to return to the home page, to log out, or to find Site Help. The Site Help is a document that will help members learn how to use the various modules of Member Self-Service. Also in the menu is an available forms dropdown. While this is by no means a comprehensive listing of member forms, these are some that are useful if you're purchasing service or if you wish to update your beneficiary information. These forms have your name and member ID on them and are barcoded with that same information, so do not share them with a friend or coworker. The Message Center contains letters or forms that have been sent to you electronically from KPPA. If you have no unread messages in your Message Center, there will be a 0 next to the envelope. Internal messaging, or IMC, allows you to receive information more quickly, more securely, and with lower mailing and supply costs. If KPPA sends you information via IMC, you will first receive an email at the address on file notifying you that there is something in your internal messaging. There'll be no information in the email itself as it is sent unsecurely. When you log into MSS, you'll note that there is now a 1 next to the envelope. This indicates you have an unread message in the Messaging Center. In the Messaging Center itself, you can see that something was sent this morning. If there is a paperclip icon, it means that there is an attachment to this message. When you click on the message, a new field will open and you can read the message and see what attachments have been included. You can choose to delete the message altogether or close it for future reading. If you have a printer, you can also print the message. The Contact Information field allows you to update your address, phone number, and email address with KPPA without completing a paper form. When you enter the Contact Information module, your current mailing address, phone numbers, and email address will display. If you wish to add or edit anything, click the blue icon at the bottom to edit whatever field you wish to change. A newer feature is Communication Preference. Members are defaulted to receiving messages and calculations electronically via IMC unless otherwise requested by the member. If you enter the Edit Contact Information field and choose to add a phone number or change an email address, you'll need to enter your 4-digit KPPA PIN to verify. If you are an active employee and change your address on Member Self-Service, make sure that you notify your employer of the change. Also on the Edit Contact Information page is the option to revert to having letters and calculations mailed. You can change this back at any time. The Account Summary module is an informational page that displays several aspects of your retirement account. At the top of the Account Summary page is a System Selection Matrix. If you have more than one membership or refunded memberships, you can check or uncheck to see the service in that membership by itself. This will also display the employer that last reported to KPPA on your behalf. Otherwise, only information for active and inactive memberships is checked. The next section is your membership information. This displays your member ID, a redacted Social Security number, the name we have on file for you, and your date of birth. The next section displays your total account balance. This will include your contributions, interest, and any monies paid for service purchases during your career, broken down by system and plan, as of our last posting date. The next section of the Account Summary page displays your beneficiary information that we have on file. If this information is incorrect, you can complete a new Form 2035 Beneficiary Designation Form to update. If the people listed are correct but the dates of birth on display show January 1st of 1800, this is a display issue only. Contact our office to verify we have the correct information on file. Beneath this section is your service summary. This will display your total service as of the end of the previous fiscal year. It updates only once annually. The last section of the module is a service purchase module. This functionality is currently not being used. At the bottom of the page, you have the option of changing your user ID, your password, or your secret question by navigating to that page and updating the information using your 4-digit KPPA PIN. The Account History module gives a detailed breakdown of service you have earned or purchased throughout your participating career. The Account History page is broken down into 2 tabs. One is for service, and one is for contributions. The Service Summary tab displays all salaries for each of the fiscal years you have been participating. Additionally, if you have purchased service, the type of purchase you have made will display in the year you purchased it. Please bear in mind that fiscal years run from July 1st through June 30th, so these salaries will not align with your W-2 salaries. The Contribution History tab displays all pre-tax or post-tax contributions you have paid in for each fiscal year based on the 5% or 8% of credible compensation, which is based on if you are non-hazardous or hazardous duty. Additionally, it shows the interest that has been paid into your account at the end of each fiscal year. If you have purchased service, the amount that you paid will be displayed in the fiscal year you purchased it. The ER Pay and Employer Interest columns are for Tier 3 members only. The Documents module allows users to upload documents from their PC or phone directly to their individual forms library in our office. The Documents Upload module works much like any other upload program you may have used in the past. Under the Upload section, click the green Upload Document icon. Once you have clicked the icon, a drop-down will appear showing all the different document types that can be uploaded. If the document you are uploading does not fit one of these categories, choose Other at the bottom of the drop-down. If you have multiple documents to upload, do this process for each separate form. Do not upload them together. I'm uploading a birth certificate, so I will choose Date of Birth Verification from the drop-down. Once I've chosen that from the drop-down, I will click the Next icon. I now need to find the birth certificate on my device. To do so, click the Choose File icon. I'm going to navigate to the folder where my birth certificate is saved on my computer and choose it. This could be any number of file types, such as a JPEG or PDF. Once I have chosen the file and it appears in the field, I will click the Next icon. A low-resolution icon will appear showing my document that is to be uploaded. This is to verify that I have selected the correct document and it is legible. If this is correct, click the Upload icon. Once the document is successfully uploaded, you will receive a success notice. The Benefit Estimate Calculator module allows users to use real-time information to determine retirement dates and project monthly payments. The Benefit Estimate module is a 5-tab wizard, with each tab building on the previously entered information. You have the ability to add or change information on each tab, or you can leave it alone until you reach the results. To move to the next tab, you'll need to click the blue Next icon at the top or bottom of each tab. The first tab is your membership information, as well as your beneficiary information. If you have multiple systems such as KERS and CERS, you can check or uncheck each one to see how it looks to retire if you should separate accounts. If you have an external membership such as teachers and you do not see it displaying, you'll need to contact our office to make sure it will display. As default, only active and inactive memberships display. In the beneficiary information section, your primary beneficiary on file will display. If this is not who you want to use as your beneficiary, or if there is no one listed, you can choose a different person in the drop-down, or you can update the information on the estimate by changing the date of birth and relationship of the person you wish to use instead. If no one is listed, you should submit a new Form 2035 Beneficiary Designation Form to our office. If your employer reports sick leave balances to KPPA, this amount will display. If it is blank, you have the option of adding your sick leave balance and days worked to the fields, and this will add extra service to your retirement calculation. If the field is not there, this means your employer does not participate in a sick leave plan offered by KPPA. Compensatory time is an extra amount of paid leave typically associated with state agencies. This amount should be automatically filled if you are a Tier 1 state employee. You should complete this field only if you are certain your agency reports compensatory time to KPPA at the time of your retirement. The second part of the tab allows the user to update service by including a future service purchase, or, if the member has an ongoing IPS contract, adding the remaining service. The answers to the questions default to no. If you are not purchasing service, you can click the Next icon at the top or bottom of the tab. If you change the service purchase questions to yes, a new field appears. Clicking yes to the service purchase question will display service fields for each of the plans administered by KPPA. Enter the months of service you are considering purchasing in the system and plan you will make the purchase, and click Next. This will potentially change the retirement date information on the following tabs. The third tab will display two different retirement dates, your first eligible retirement date and your first unreduced retirement date. These dates could be changed based on sick leave and purchase information from the previous tabs. Your first eligible retirement date will be the earliest date you can retire based on either your age or service or according to your tier and plan. The first unreduced retirement date is a date you can retire without any early retirement penalties. You'll note in our example that the first eligible date is September 1st, 2024, and September 1st, 2026 is the first unreduced. Note also that the retirement date is always the first of the month, and the termination date we use is always the last date of the month before your retirement date. If you wish to see a different date than these two, you can enter a termination date of your choice, then click the green Calculate Retirement Date icon, and the retirement date field will populate. Make sure that you change the radio button to match which date you wish to use. When you have chosen your retirement date, click the Next icon to move to the next tab. The fourth tab is for your salary information. The first field on the screen is for your age 62 Social Security payment. This field is typically blank. If you enter the amount you anticipate drawing from Social Security at age 62, and if you should retire before age 62, the estimator will display the Social Security adjustment option on the Results tab. Active employees have their salaries reported by their employers. The estimator will convert this to a monthly salary, and this will display in the monthly salary field. If this monthly salary amount is incorrect, or if you want to assume a different monthly salary to be projected, you should update it at this time. If you wish to modify future salaries with projected raises before you retire, you can assume annual raises by clicking on the Project Current Salary plus Percentage Increases each year on Specified Month button. You will then enter the month you receive your annual increment and then a percentage increase for those increments. This will give you that percentage increment each year between now up through your termination date. To continue, you must click the Calculate Final Compensation button. Once you have done so, your final compensation will display at the bottom of the fourth tab. Final compensation, or salary average, is one of the three numbers used in the calculation of a Tier 1 or Tier 2 benefit. The numbers that display are projected on your salaries between now and your termination date. If you feel the numbers are incorrect, or if you wish to see a different final compensation altogether, you can click the Override Radio button and then enter a new amount. The retirement calculation will use whichever amount you choose. To see the results, click the blue Show Estimate button. The Results tab will display several different fields. First, you will see an overview of the information about your account, the retirement date, the projected number of months used at the time of retirement, your age at retirement, and your beneficiary's age at retirement. At any time, you can go back and change the information on a previous tab, and the changes will be reflected here as you move forward through the wizard again. Next, hidden behind a green collapsible bar is the math that is used to determine your monthly benefit. This will show all of the numbers and the formula that is used to determine your benefit based on your tier, system, and plan. The estimator will determine if there's a potential pension spike in your last 5 fiscal year salaries. If the system does detect the possibility of a spike, a screen will appear advising you that there is a potential spike and give a brief description of pension spiking. This does not guarantee that you will have a pension spike when you ultimately retire, and the following results will not reflect any pension spiking. You can look at your salaries on the results page and hopefully notice the salaries that are greater than 10% higher than the previous year, which kicks off a spike. Click the OK icon to dismiss the pension spiking message. Last, you'll see your monthly payment options based on all the information from the previous tabs. The options shown are based on several factors, including your age, your beneficiary's age in relationship to you, and if you had entered information in the age 62 Social Security field. If you click on the icon next to the payment option, a description of the payment will display. Another screen behind the collapsible bar is the partial lump sum option comparison. This will show how much longer you would have to work in order for the partial lump sum option at that time to equal the basic payment or Survivorship 100% option for the current retirement date. It is for illustrative purposes only. The monthly amounts are hyperlinked to a tax calculator where you can get an idea of how much will be withheld in federal taxes based on your filing status. You can change your projected information to obtain different results. You will actually determine your tax filing status when you retire, and you can change it at any time after retirement. The Service Purchase Calculator module allows you to estimate the cost of purchasing service, or if you've received a cost in the past from KPPA's office, it allows you to recalculate the cost yourself. Much like the Benefit Estimate module, the Service Purchase Calculator is a 5-tab wizard in which you can add information until you achieve your results. The first tab is informational only. It displays your date of birth, your participation date, and your service as of the end of the most recent fiscal year. In our example, you can see it is June of 2024. If any of this information is not correct, contact our office. If it is correct, click the blue Next icon at the top or bottom of the tab. On the second tab, you'll need to choose which service purchase you wish to make. There's a drop-down that will display all the service purchase types available in self-service. This is not every service purchase type that we offer, but it does cover most of the service purchase types that we do calculate. Under that, you'll need to choose the cost calculation date. For service purchases, it must always be the last date of the given month and must be a current or future date. You can go up to 6 months in advance of today's date. If you choose a cost calculation date that is not the last day of the month, or it is too far into the future, the system will give you an error message. Once you have chosen a valid cost calculation date, click the blue Next icon to continue. This is a listing of all the purchase types available in Member Self-Service. The estimator does not check for eligibility, but it does check for date overlaps with existing service. In our example, I have chosen a delayed service purchase with a cost calculation date of July 31st, 2024. On the third tab, you need to choose a system or plan. If you have service in multiple systems, such as CERS or KERS, or service in multiple plans, such as hazardous or non-hazardous, you need to indicate where you wish to purchase it. If you only have one system or plan, there will be nothing to choose. You can run multiple costs to compare if you are in multiple systems or multiple plans. Click the Next icon to continue. If you choose non-qualified service as the purchase type, you only need to indicate how many months, in increments of 12, you wish to purchase. This will be in a drop-down. If you choose a service purchase type that has dates associated with it, you'll need to enter the beginning and ending dates of that service. This will determine how many months you can purchase, and it will also check to see if any of that time overlaps with service you already have. Next, the system will determine which is higher, your current rate of pay or your final compensation as of the cost calculation date. You can override that amount to a higher amount, but not to a lower amount. Click the Show Estimate icon to see the results. You can see in the example that I have entered January 1st through December 31st of 1995. This equals 12 months or 1 year of service, and the costs will be based on the calculated salary of $84,046.56. If I feel this is too low, I can override that amount to a higher number. Again, I cannot make it lower. The fifth tab shows me the results based on the actuarial factors and current rate of pay. 1 year of service will cost $41,091.64. Note that the purchase amount is hyperlinked. This will navigate me to the IPS calculator, which we'll talk about in a little bit. If I want to change any of the numbers in the previous tabs, I can navigate back by clicking the previous tab or clicking one of the icons in the wizard at the top of the tab. If I had ever requested and received a service purchase cost from the KPPA office, I can request a recalculation online. That way I can see how much to expect if I wish to initiate the cost, and I can request the paperwork be sent to me without having to contact the KPPA office. This saves time as you can calculate the official cost immediately. In the screenshot, you can see that there is a box called "Click here to view purchases you can request immediately." This is available only for members who have seen a cost previously from KPPA. If you should click the box, you can see the member has seen a cost for non-qualified service in the past. I'm going to request a recalculation of the 24-month non-qualified cost by clicking the associated radio button. I will then click the next icon to continue. As this is a recalculation, much of the information is already known, so the wizard will jump to the fourth tab. It is display only, so you can click the Show Estimate icon at the bottom to move to the results. The cost to purchase the 24 months of service is based on the actuarial factors and the higher of the salary or final compensation as of the cost calculation date. In the example, the total cost is $84,153.02. Note again that the purchase amount is hyperlinked to the IPS calculator. The member can also purchase 12 months, as the service is purchasable in yearly increments. If you wish to initiate the cost and receive paperwork to pay for the service, you need to choose the amount you wish to buy and click the Purchase this service icon. To make certain that you wish to make the purchase, the system will ask you again to verify. Once you click Yes, you will be sent the paperwork either to roll over funds or initiate an IPS. However, you are still under no obligation to purchase the service. The IPS calculator allows users to see the cost to purchase service via payroll deduction. Going back to our service purchase screen, the cost amounts are hyperlinked. If you click on the hyperlinked amount, you will navigate to the IPS calculator. You can also click the IPS calculator link to navigate to the calculator. If you navigate to the IPS calculator from the service purchase module, the cost will auto-populate. If you navigate from the IPS link, the amount will be blank and you will have to enter a service purchase amount. There are three other fields on the calculator. The first is a down payment amount, which would be whatever amount you plan on paying up front. Next is the interest rate. This is currently set at 7.5% and cannot be changed. Last is the length of contract, which is a drop-down. The length of an IPS contract runs between 1 year up to a maximum of 5 years. Once the fields are complete, click the green Calculate icon. The IPS results will display the principal, down payment amount used, interest rate, and length of contract from the first tab. The results show the monthly payment that will be taken from the member's check while working and the total interest to be paid during the contract. The total payback amount is the interest plus the principal. Additionally, there is a link to an amortization schedule, which will break down the principal and interest paid each month of the life of the contract. The Account Balance Letter module allows members to send their account information to themselves or to a third party. If you choose mail, you will need the address of the third party, or you can mail it to yourself. If you choose email, you will need to enter the email address of the recipient twice to verify. If you choose View or Print, the letter will be sent to you via IMC within moments. Whichever of the three options you choose, you must enter your 4-digit KPPN to send the letter. The Annual Statements module provides snapshots of your account activity over the past years. Annual statements for all Tier 1 and Tier 2 members since 2012 are displayed in the module. By clicking the Select icon to the left, the system will display a PDF for the fiscal year's statement, showing your service, account balance, earnings, and beneficiary information at that time. KPPA Self-Service has a module that allows members to file for retirement online. This is quicker, more secure, and reduces errors in the retirement process. Watch our Ready to Retire webinar to learn more about the online retirement module. The seminar registration page will allow the user to register for pre-retirement sessions or outreach seminars when available. KPPA is currently not utilizing this module. When we do have these available, you'll be notified via email to register. The last thing to do in self-service is to log out. For security purposes, we recommend that you always log out of your self-service session when you are completed. There is a logout button in the top of the nav bar to the right, or it is the last link in the expanded menu if you're using a mobile device. Additionally, there is a timer that you'll always see in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. After 15 minutes of inactivity, you will automatically be logged out. Our legal notice concludes the Tier 1 Member Self-Service webinar. This, of course, is intended for general information reference only, so if you do have specific questions regarding your account, please contact us at 1-800-928-4646 with your 4-digit PIN. On behalf of myself and the other KPPA staff, we wish you well and thank you for attending today's webinar.